This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so we're picking up on Shara Bitachon, Perek Gimel. In Safaria, it's 4:3:36. Okay, hello, Carol. Good. In Safaria, it's 4:3:36. Okay, and we're up to the word Vahasheni and the second reason. So let's see what the first reason, let's see what he's giving reasons for, and then we'll get some traction over here. So he spoke about God created the world in a manner that in order to get our sustenance, we have to work towards it. We have to get ourselves involved in different professions, different ways of getting our sustenance, getting our food, or earning the money to get our food. So why did God create the world in such a manner? Okay, that's what he's discussing. And he gave the first reason. He said there are two reasons. One is, he says, that this is a way for a person to, not to show God, because God knows, but a way for a person to either step up or not step up. Will I procure that which I need through permitted means, through permitted actions, as opposed to stealing, during permitted times, as opposed to Shabbat, holidays, Shemitah, right? Will I stay within the parameters that Hashem has given me towards getting, right? So am I going to stay within these parameters? And as we've often explained, when we go back to the very first sin, which was Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, the issue was that God specifically planted a tree within their reach and told them not to partake of it, right? Why not just don't put it in the garden? Well, that's not the point. The point is for them to recognize and realize that they're in Hashem's world, they're in Hashem's garden. And that's for us also to realize we are in Hashem's garden. And whenever we buy, we choose which food to buy. Hello, Carol. Whenever we choose which food to buy, right? Make sure it has the proper certification. We are revisiting the Garden of Eden and making the right decision as we do that. Okay? So the first reason he gave as to why Hashem created the world in a manner that we need to work to earn our sustenance, that's a way of our refining ourselves by staying within those parameters that Hashem gives us. And on a more global view, that's a way of us showing that we recognize that we are but guests in the house of the Lord, in God's world. V'hasheni. So we're picking up, Carol, do you have a Safaria or do you have a book or are you just listening? You're good. Okay. If you're on Safaria, we are in duties of the heart 4:3:36. V'hasheni. Secondly, ki ilu lo hutzrach adam litroach v'lachzor u'lesavev lava'at tarfo. If a person did not need to work and to put in the effort and to make one's rounds, lava'at tarfo, in order to get what one's sustenance, hayabo'et, we would then literally kick, meaning rebel. V'rodef achara averot, right? Right? If you got nothing to do, you'll get, right? You get yourself involved in stuff you're not supposed to be involved in. Are we good in terms of the place, Melvin?
Yeah, no, the app that you created was just ringing, so I just don't know who that was.
Oh. The WhatsApp group?
I think Ken's trying to get in.
It was Ken.
Okay.
I got him on my.
There we go. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. It might be easier if you go in through right, you're in through WhatsApp now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Is anybody getting bounce back?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ken, just mute yourself unless you're going to speak up, okay? Otherwise, there's a lot of bounce back. Better? Okay, good. Welcome aboard, Ken. Okay, so the second reason as to why Hashem created this, arranged the situation that we need to work in order to get our needs is otherwise we'd be up to no good. Hiya, I'm getting bounced back. Ken, could you go on not through WhatsApp but through the GoToMeeting app? From the email that went out, you'll find that there's a way to GoToMeeting app. Okay, that might minimize the bounce back. Okay. Yes. So we get up to no good. Hayaboet, we would rebel. Virodef. Hi, Robin. 4336. Virodef achar averot. We go running after averot, sins. Bloya mashkiach hamashu chayav bo. And we would not be focused on that which we are. We will not be focused on that which we need to be, al mashu chayav bo, that which we're obligated to God, al tovat ha'elokim alav, for all the good that God sends to us, right? So we'd have too much time on our hands, and even more so, right? If it's all coming to me, so then I don't know anyone anything. Right? If it's all coming to me, I don't owe anyone. I don't owe God anything because, hey, I'm self-sufficient. I've got it all. I'm not lacking anything. We mentioned before, one of the morning blessings we make is she'asali kol tzarki, that God has made for me, not really as it's often translated, God has provided all my needs, but she'asali kol tzarki, that God has made for me my needs. He made me needy. And that way I recognize that I'm not this self-sufficient island, but rather I need others and I need God. So otherwise we would not feel any need of any chiyuv bo al tovat elokim, any obligation for the good that God has given to us. As the pasuk says in Yeshayahu, Isaiah, Vaya, Kinor, V'Navel, Tov, V'Chalil. Oh, there's going to be all these instruments, the harp, the lyre, the drums, the chalil, the recorder, the yayin mishteyem, and drinks on the house, wine for their drinking. Vet poel Hashem lo yabitu, and that which Hashem is doing lo yabitu, that which Hashem is doing for us, they will not look at that. Umase yadav lo ra'u, and the work of God's hands, so to speak, they would not see and would not appreciate. Va'amar, and this is this week's parsha, I believe, Vayashmein Yeshurun, Vayivaet, right? Yeshurun, that's us. We get fat, and then what happens? Vayivaet, and then we kick. Shamanta avita kashita vayitosha l'kaoseu. You kicked, you got wide, you got complacent, and you desert, you reject the God who has made you and who has supplied all of these things. Va'amru, Zechron Lebracha, and the sages build on this, and the Mishnah Avot says, Yafet Talmud Torah im derech eretz. Talmud Torah, the study of Torah, should be accompanied by derech eretz, by having a job, by working. Sheyigiat shneyem, that when one is toiling in both of them, mishakachat avon, that causes the sins to be forgotten because we're busy doing what we need to be doing. We recognize that we're not self-sufficient. We recognize it's coming from God, and therefore we recognize our obligations back to God as a result of that. The Kol Torah, and it goes further there in Avod, in the Ethics of the Fathers, Kol Torah she'eni ma malacha, any Torah that's not accompanied by malacha, sofa b'teila. In the end, the Torah will become batela. The study will not be full study. Vigoreret avon. and it will end up pulling along other sins, other misdeeds. Kol shekain mi she'ein lo chelek be'echad mehem. Certainly, if someone is not involved in either one of these, meaning not in Torah nor in one's livelihood, v'lo sam libo al echad mehem, right? And or does not put his efforts into either one of them, then certainly that's going to be problematic. Vaya, therefore, it is mechemlat haboriyit Allah. It is God's compassion al ha'adam, on humankind, shehiturido, that He kept us busy, beinyanei olamo, dealing with our needs of olamo, this world, va'acharito, and also our here to come, also our end, also our next world. Litasek kol yemei chayav bazeh, to be involved all the days of our life in this. V'lo yivakesh ma she'enot sarich lo, right? And a person should not, right, and one will not have the leftover time to get involved in seeking ma she'enot sarich lo, seeking that which we don't need, all the extra motarot, as they're called, the extra luxuries, below yuchal hasigo b'sichlo, and also those things which we're not able to understand. Kamo, for example, inyanei hatchala v'hatichla, the Mishnah in Chagiga discusses there's certain things that we're not supposed to be delving into. Things that were before the universe, after the universe. These are things which we can't fathom, and by delving into them, not only won't we understand that, but it will end up misleading our understanding in things that we can understand. Okay. Commotion like the Chacham, like Shlomo, King Solomon, Shlomo Melech says in Koheles, Gam et ha'olam natan b'libam, mibli asher lo yimatzeh adam et ha'maaseh asher asa Elokim merosh v'ad sof. The idea that we're saying that the toils and the involvements of this world were given into, Hashem put that into the world, in order that we will not go straying into areas that we should not be straying, right? So sometimes like I think our parents would say to us, you'll be up to no good if you don't, right? So we don't want to be up to no good. So that's why we have the jobs that we have in this world, and that keeps us honest, it keeps us focused, and it keeps us busy, and it keeps us recognizing that we are in need of others, in need of Hashem, and we act thereby accordingly. V'im haya, now. V'im hu, so this is for the general populace. However, v'im hu magbir avodat ha'elokim. But if a person is magbir, coming with tremendous gevurah, tremendous strength and dedication in one's avodat Elokim, in serving Hashem, ubocher b'yirato, and a person chooses to put all of his efforts into yirat Hashem, into this awe of Hashem, and the study of Torah, and the appreciation of God, and the mitzvot, uboteach bo b'inyanei Torato v'olamo, and he puts his full trust in God when it comes to his Torah and his world. V'sar min advarim hamugunim, and a person is keeping themselves away, abstaining, moving away from things that are lowly. V'kosef, and all one's desires, all one's wants is focused on lemidot hatovot, the good midot. In that case, then the two concerns that we had, why Hashem needed to make us have to go to work every day, then those concerns will not apply. Number one, lo yib'at b'menucha, right? He will not end up kicking God and spirituality when he has his leisure time. V'lo yateh et hashalva, he will not tilt or corrupt this ease, this serenity that he has to go after things that one shouldn't. Below yasiyehu hayetzer, and the yetzer, the inclination, will not pull him. Below yaft bekishvei haolam, and he will not be drawn after the foolishnesses of this world. In that case, then this person's good to go. Oh, good, Ken, it worked out. Yistolek me'alav. That way a person can take off from himself Torach, the worries of Hagilgul v'Sivuv, of all the steps that one needs to take, and all of the Hakafot, all the roundabouts that we need to do. B'hava'at tarfo, in providing one's sustenance. Mipnei histalkut shnei apanim hanitzkarim me'alav, because the two factors why we need to have all of this work on us don't apply to this person. The two were, number one, we did last week, was habechina, a way of determining, is a person going to be recognizing they're in God's world and staying within the parameters? This person is fully aware and fully vested in their being guests here in God's world. V'abi'ita b'tova, and rejecting God and rejecting the mitzvot and the Torah because everything is going easy, so I'm taking care of it myself. Neither of these concerns apply to this person who is fully vested in their Yirat Hashem, in their Oav Hashem, in their Avodat Hashem, in their serving Hashem. And the more time you give this person, the more they're going to serve Hashem. So for such a person, v'yiviyehu tarfo b'li toreach u'b'li yigia, such a person, God will provide that person's needs without them having to trouble themselves, without them having to toil. Kafi sipuko umizono, whatever that person needs. We're not talking about having luxuries or luxurious lifestyle, but such a person isn't really interested in a luxurious lifestyle. They're interested in having enough, in having enough, and they rejoice with what Hashem gives them. So such a person will be able to be supplied without their toil. Kamosha Katuv, as the pasuk says in Mishlei, Proverbs again, Lo Yariv Hashem Nefesh Tzadik. God will not cause hunger to the nefesh, the soul of a tzaddik, of a righteous person. Okay. Ve'im Yomar HaOmer. I'm sure this is a new little paragraph over there, because now he's going off in a completely different direction. And let's say a person will say, that sounds great. So you're saying, Rav Bachya, you're saying, you're saying that, if a person is really, really righteous, then God will supply that person's needs without them having to work. The only problem is we open up our eyes, we look around, and we see some very unsavory characters who seem to be doing just fine without having to put in any effort. And we see some very righteous people who are in a difficult financial situation. And it's not just coming to them so easily. Ve'im Yomar HaOmer. And if you will propose, I should say, Hine anachnu roim. Hey, we open our eyes, we look around, we see miktzat tzadikim. There are some tzadikim, lo yizdamein lahem tarfam, and they are not provided with their needs ella acharei ha'amol v'yigia. Only after tremendous toil and hard work do they manage to put some bread on the table, as we say. V'rabim me'anshe haveirot, and many of those who are heavily involved in aveirot, in sins, b'shalva, they're living in a state of ease, shalva, of comfort, v'chayeyem, b'tov uvenimim, and their lives are good and pleasant and easy, right? So it doesn't seem to line up with the expectations that we have based on the structure that he said before, that the hard work is to show that a person is going to be staying within the boundaries of the Torah that God gave us of proper behavior, and as I added, and will help the person recognize that they're living in God's world. We need those reminders, and also so that we don't get complacent and go elsewhere. But a person who's truly righteous, it'll be delivered to him on its own without all that effort. We don't see that, and we seem to see the opposite in many situations. Nomar, to that I will say, Kikvar kadmu haneviyim v'chasidim. You're not the first ones to ask this question, he says. The Nevi'im, prophets, Nevi'im, who have a pretty good understanding of God, they have this question. V'chasidim, and very, very righteous people have asked this question. Lachkor al za'inyan. They have delved into this topic, this major topic, which is often referred to as tzaddik viralo, rasha v'tovlo. Tzaddik, a righteous person, viralo, and things do not go well for that person, and rasha, an evil person, v'tovlo, and everything seems to be tov, everything seems to be good for that person. Mehem Misha Amar, amongst those who spoke about it are those that said, Madua, this is Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah, Madua derech Sha'im Salacha. Why is it that the path, the ways of the evil seems to be succeeding? V'amar ha'acher, another one of the prophets, Chabakuk, Lama tirani aven v'amel v'tabit v'shod v'chamas Lenegdi, vihi riv umadon yisa, right? Why is it that I see, right? I see all of this difficulty, pain, inequity in the world. Amel v'amen tabit, I see that v'shod v'chamas and thievery and robbery and violence, lenegdi before me. Vihi riv umadon yisa, and it's fights, it's machloket. That is what is going on. Va'amar ki Rasha, the next pasuk says, and I see a Rasha machtir et tzaddik, that the Rasha is up above, has the upper hand over a tzaddik. Va'omer, that's all Chavakuk chapter 1, that was verse 3 and 4. Now we have Chavakuk again, chapter 1, but verse 13. Tacharish, why are you silent, God? Bibala, Rasha, Sadik mimenu. When an evil person swallows up someone who is more righteous than he. So we have Yirmiyahu, we have Chavakuk lamenting what they see, the injustices that they see of the tzaddik who suffers and the righteous who prosper, and King David. V'amar Acher, another one of our prophets, this is Tehillim, King David. Hinei Eila Rishaim Vishalvei Olam Hisku Chayil. These Rishaim and all the pleasantness of this world they have attained. Va'amar, and David continues. That was verse 12 in chapter 73. David continues in verse 13 of that same chapter. Achrik zakisi levavi ve'erchatz b'nikayon kapai. And David was wondering, was it for naught? Was it for rake? Was it for emptiness? Zachiti, that I worked so hard to purify myself, to purify levavi, my heart. Ve'erchatz b'nikayon kapai, and I washed my hands, my palms, with such cleanliness. I made sure that my hands were clean, so to speak. Vehi negua kol hayom, and here I've been nagua. I'm like afflicted all of the day. V'tochachti la bikarim, and my difficulties are renewed or are doubled every morning. right? So David himself is saying that, wow, this really shakes me, and it shakes my dedication towards doing what's right and being honest and being clean when I see those who are the opposite and they're prospering. V'amar acher, and another one of the prophets said, Al pi anshe doro, right, about the people of his generation. What did he say? Gam bachanu Elokim, they tested Hashem, v'yimlatu, and they're fine, and they escaped, so to speak. They walked away unscathed. V'harbei kazeh, and there are many like this. Interesting, he didn't bring Moshe. Moshe himself, that's an example I like to bring. Whenever someone says, Rabbi, I don't understand why God's doing this, my response is, well, you're in good company. Neither did Moshe. And Moshe had a pretty good understanding of God, but neither did Moshe. Moshe said, Lam hariota la'am hazeh, why have you done evil to these people? Me'az bati leparo, from the time that I came to Paro, hey Ra, right? Hatzel, hey Ra lazem hazeh, you made it worse for them. Vihatzelo, hitzalta, you haven't saved them. And famously, when Moshe had that vision of Hashem, Hashem showed him his presence. So Moshe said, Ho di'eni na'as terachecha, let me make it known to me your ways. The sages explain what Moshe was asking was explain to me, Tzaddik v'ralo, Rasha v'tovlo, why righteous suffer and why the evil prosper. This is a question that all of the Nevi'im, all of the prophets have had. But the Navi doesn't give an answer. These Nevi'im, these great prophets, they all ask this question, and they don't give an answer. They don't give a biur. They don't give an explanation as to why this is. Mipnei, why? She'ilat kol echad min ha-tzadikim hanivchanim v'chol echad min ha-risha'im shehem betova, that because every one of these tzaddikim who are going through these tests of this difficulty, and every one of the Risha'im, of the evildoers, Shehem Betovat Ba'olam Hazeh, Shehem Betova, who have things going just hunky-dory here in this world, Zulat Ilat Ha'acher. The reason for any one of them is not the same as for any other one of them. So there is a reason, and he's going to give us a host of possible reasons. There is a reason for each and every one, but there's not one reason for everyone. Each one has their journey, what they need to experience. We'll soon see. So there are reasons, but the Nevi'im could not answer the question because there's not one answer to the question. There is one answer for every instance and another answer for every other instance. That is how individualized and specialized the Hashgacha Pratis, the divine orchestration, is. And every person needs to go through whatever it is that they go through.
Rabbi, where are you?
Did I speak?
I seem to have lost you.
I could. Others in Safari still have it. Did I lose everybody?
Yeah.
I lost everyone.
I don't know about Kathy.
I'm hearing.
Yes.
Let me see.
You lost us all.
Okay, let me go to Safari. Give me 1
I
second.
think he's in 40.
No, it's past.
Mm.
Past.
Let me see what I can find here. Duties of the heart. Okay. Trust. We said 4, 3.
So
We lost you at 41.
Okay, so let me see. Okay. Yeah, we're at 41.
Okay.
That's what we're on to.
Okay.
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 Ach hiniach hanavi atshuva bebiur ilot. The Navi has left off any answer to explaining this situation. Why is that? Because I have everything now again. We're all good? Good. Because the reason for each one of these tzaddikim who are going through their test, their difficulty, and the reason for each one of these evildoers who are having this all the good in this world, is zulat ila ta'acher. No one shares the same reason. There's a different reason. There is a unique, specialized reason for each and every person. Lachein heir al zeh bamro, and therefore Moshe addressed this when he said, this is the parsha that we're learning now at the end of Devarim, right? This is last week's parsha. Hanistarot la Hashem Elokeinu, that which is hidden is for Hashem our God. V'haniglot, that which is revealed is lanu ulivanenu, meaning there's that which we do understand, and the vast majority of what goes on in this world we do not understand. Hanistarot, all of these hidden things are in Hashem's domain, and He has His reasons for all of them, and it's not us. We don't know it. V'amar HaChacham, and the wise man, that's again Shlomo Melech, King Solomon, said bidome lezeh, in a similar manner, im ashak rash, the gazal mishpat, the tzedek tir'eh b'medina, al titama al hachefetz. If you see the poor man being hurt, right? The gezel mishpat and justice seems to be stolen away from him. The tzedek tireh b'medina, and you'll see all this going on in the Medina, in the country. Al titama al hachefetz, right? Do not be astounded. Why? Because you are not going to fully understand God's world. It's as simple as that. He'll give some reasons as to why it might be happening. V'amar HaKosman, the Pasuk says in Devarim, that's this week's parsha, Hatsur, the rock, Tamim, Pa'alo, Kichol Drachav Mishpat, Kel Emunah Ve'ein Avel, is what the Pasuk says. Hatsur, the rock, Tamim Pa'alo, all of his actions are pure, are perfect. Kichol Drachav Mishpat, all of his ways are just. I once heard an explanation that a rock, you run your hand over a rock, it's not smooth, it's coarse, right? And when we run our hand over the course of our life, it too is coarse, with a different spelling than the course of our life. It too has its bumps and its ups and downs, and we get little scratches and bumps along the way. But we have to recognize with all that, and actually because of all that, and through all of that, is God's perfection in giving each and every person whatever it is that they are meant to endure. The im kolzeh, however, with all of that, I'm going to share some things, he says. The Chosavava says, Ra'iti leva'er, I saw it right to explain, be'inyan hazeh, in this issue, this topic of the righteous suffering and the evil prospering, Ma shaya bo ma'at haspaka. Something that will give, hopefully, a ma'at, a little bit of haspaka, a little bit of maspik, enough to get us to get us off of the ledge, let's say. And there are certain ways of understanding it. Now, I'll just preface this by saying it's not for me to look at someone and saying, oh, that's why God is doing this to them. There are many, many different things, many different hanhagot, different means, ways that God will work in this world. And there are some that we understand. I'm sure there are many ways that we don't understand. But of those that we do understand, it's not for us to say that's, oh, God's using method A on this person and method B on that person. We never know. Let's hear what he has to say, though. Vomer, I'll say, ki apanim, some of the reasons, asher ba'avuram, for which timana me'at tzadik, hizdam nutarfo, why a righteous person, why his needs might be held back. I'm sorry, I need to let someone in coming for davening. Give me just 1 second, please. Is that Mark? Hello, is that Mark? I'll let you in. Okay, sorry about that. So he'll whet our appetite a little bit until next week. Let's see. Efshar, it's possible. Shiyeh avon shekadamlo. It could be that the person, we know him as a tzaddik or as a tzaddiket, but it could be that something in the past was not quite as clear and pure and righteous as it might have been, right? It might have even been, as we mentioned before, the idea of Gilgal. It might have even been in an earlier iteration of that person over here. So there is some unfinished business that needs to be cleared up. Hitchayev li parami menu alav, right? And therefore, there needs to be the accounting. There needs to be the accounting for that onto this person, right? And therefore the pasuk says, "Hein tzaddik ba'aretz yeshulam." A very righteous person on this earth will end up paying, meaning that a person would jump at the opportunity once they have that full scope of understanding that let me go through some difficulties in this world and be completely clear and pure when it's time for the next world. So who knows what this person might have done in the past, either in this lifetime, an earlier lifetime, who knows? And therefore, this is a kindness to that person to get payment, so to speak, here in this world, or to be cleansed, better to say, in this world, and be completely pure in the world to come. That's one possibility. V'yesh, another possibility, shiel derech hatmura ba'olam haba. It is being done in order that the person will have that much more in the world to come. As it says, to bring you good at your end. Meaning, if this is a place where we're here for a finite period of time, and our actions, thoughts, actions, words here are going to affect our eternity. So then, if a person has the wherewithal, Hashem will say, I'm going to make it a little bit harder for that person. And that person I know has the wherewithal that with that difficulty is going to still be strong, or get stronger from that, or even won't get stronger, but will still be strong. But that will be such a greater act on that person's part that the eternity that will be brought about by those actions under difficult circumstances will be that much greater than had it been under easy, smooth sailing circumstances, right? I mentioned before, the Mishnah says in Avot, in Pirkei Avot, Ethics of the Fathers, Achad bitzar, Kameya shalo bitzar. Doing a thing once when it's difficult, that's equal to you having done it 100 times when it was easy. So all of a sudden we have this exponential gain. If there's going to be difficulties that if the Hashem sees that a tzaddik can handle it, then Hashem will send that to the tzaddik, because that's a way, like we said, of elevating this person up to this much higher level. Let's take one more, then I'll go to Davin. V'yesh sheyeh laharot savlo v'asbarato hatova v'avadat borei barach kedei sheyilmadu b'nei adam imenu k'mo sheyadata mi'inyan Iyov. Sometimes when this person is having it difficult and still being so devoted, that serves as a model and as an inspiration to so many other people. And once again, that's going to elevate this person that much more, because by serving as a model and an inspiration to others, then this person has a share in all the good that other people are doing. So these are so far 3 possible reasons as to why Hashem may have a righteous person going through some difficulties, even though they are righteous. And we never know what the actual reason is. Okay, my friends, I'm going to stop over here. 4-3, what are we up to?
48.
Against 48.
48?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll pick up over here next week on Monday, please God.
How's your son doing in Israel?
He's not in Israel now. The army sent his whole group, this is a couple of weeks ago, to have a little relaxation after all the in and out, and he is surfing in Panama.
Oh,
Wow.
how long does he get to stay there before he comes back?
So right now his work is on leave, so it's a startup and they're waiting for some more funding. See, he's not in a great rush to go back. So right now he's still in Panama, and he's probably going to be here for Sukkot. That's what we're hoping.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Good.
Baruch Hashem. That's what we're hoping.
Yes.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Okay.
Bye, Kath.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.